What's up, guys? It's Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News, where it is a live broadcast, and today's news is tomorrow's history. We'll be right back. Let's get it going. All right. What is up, guys? It is a great night. So we have a lot of stuff to go over in just a short amount of time. I am still doing a live 2-hour broadcast over on Marfoogle TV, the other channel to this network. So I wanted to bring you some information that is coming out as we speak, and we actually have some info that is real as it gets, and I want to reiterate that. But first, I want to go over all of the things that have been going on as far as the earthquake. In tonight's Marfoogle TV show, which will be a 2-hour live call-in show over on Marfoogle TV, we will be going over some of the crazier, more world stuff that's going on. But right now, I want to cover a lot of what is going on earthquake-wise. Now, as many of you know, just a few days ago, we took a 3-day or 72-hour trip away from our home because I was sitting there after a show talking to my mods, and all of a sudden my entire house dropped. That is normal if you're, say, in California or somewhere where, you know, you're sitting on a fault and there's constant 3.0, 4.0s, but it is not normal here. In fact, it was even in a tiny weird spot, and I just happened to be right above it. It's kind of ironic considering I've been telling people to prepare for the Cascadia subduction zone and the big one, the really big one, for over a year now publicly, and I am doing a documentary on this subject. So, with that being said, I wanted to go into some of the things that are going on. Very strange, smaller earthquakes in very odd places, and kind of brings me back to the saying, there will be earthquakes in diverse places. 3.0 earthquake hits Kentucky/Tennessee border. It says a 3.0 magnitude earthquake hit the Tennessee-Kentucky border Wednesday morning. Now, it's not the size of these. Obviously, the size is not why these are in articles. It is the placement. In fact, nobody would write an article about a 3.0 in California. That would just be dumb. But in, Tennessee, Kentucky, these areas, Oklahoma, Texas, all these kind of earthquakes, they get coverage. Now, if you wanted to go with what Dutch has said, which, by the way, I know that there are some people that are not on Dutch's side. Some people think this, that. Most people, in fact, most of my people are fully behind him, including myself. And I'll tell you one more thing to add to this. Last night after my show, I was in his live chat, and he literally said that there was going to be something around a 5 off of the coast of Oregon. That was last night. In fact, since it is I'm assuming that his chat is there. I didn't take the time to do it, but you can go back to when I'm talking to his mods. He comes in, he says hi. He was telling me about some of the problems that he had with YouTube, and then I said, what about Washington? I kept asking Washington, what do you think about this? He said that there would be around a 5 off of the coast of Oregon. And then what do you know? A 5.3 magnitude earthquake recorded off of Oregon coast. Now, these are the most important out of all of the ones that we're covering tonight because it is on the Cascadia subduction zone. Why is this so serious? Well, the Cascadia subduction zone is something that we've only known about for a couple of decades, and basically it's on average about every 240 years has basically ruptured, and it is a 700 to 800 mile long stretch all the way from Vancouver, Canada, all the way down to the very top side of California. So you're talking about 3 states, and when this thing ruptures, not only will it be a guaranteed 9+ magnitude, so 9.0 plus magnitude, but it will also cause a tsunami because it's the plates, the North American plate and the Juan de Fuca snapping and sending all of that water. If you can think about not even a mile, 2 miles, 10 miles, 700 miles, your whole drive from California to Washington, actually your whole drive from California to Canada, all of that land going whack and sending a wall of water up and towards land. This sounds like fear porn. This sounds like something out of a science fiction novel. But what it is it's something that is going to actually rewrite history of the West Coast. Why I think that is because, one, we are going to be spending billions and billions of dollars to fix what damage this does. And nothing can fix the lives that will be lost. See, all of the action that's happening right now is just right in the middle of all sorts of other things going on in the country. So again, these things are not looked at as, I guess as importantly as some things. Although the military and FEMA, we have connections at FEMA and in the military. We have over 300 actual publicly known military in our Discord group. These are all active or retired military, and that doesn't even cover all of the sources we have. These guys are all saying that the FEMA and the military connection on this are massively preparing. They're preparing like this thing was going to happen yesterday. Why are they preparing? Well, because they know something we don't. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Now, the person who coordinates between FEMA and the military told me at least 2 years ago that this was supposed to happen 2 years before that. They thought it was already going to happen. Now they have been doing Cascadia Rising, all of these drills. One of the largest drills on the entire West Coast was done. That was Cascadia Rising, where they had hundreds of thousands of people involved, emergency workers, all these kind of things. Now they have expedited. They're doing training at the Disaster City, which, by the way, I've covered the birth of Disaster City. It's a what was it? How many acres was Disaster City, Dex? Which, by the way, we've got Dex here. He's gonna back me up, and if I make any mistakes, he will correct me. How many acres was Disaster City? Wasn't it like 55 acres or something like that?
Yeah, it was really large, something like that. It was very big.
And when did Disaster City come together? Isn't that something that's more recent by a certain college?
Yeah, it's a 52-acre training facility. It's located in College Station, Texas, and yeah, it was planned quite a few years ago, and then it recently came together, I think, in the last couple of years.
And for whatever reason, they're doing all sorts of training in and out of that place. And then you have all of the regions. Our region, we have gone to. I've gone to the region, Region 10 FEMA, and I literally talked to a security guard. It's one of my most popular videos, and I was just going and I did a live stream right from the gate, and I talked to the security guard. The security guard came over, who has to have a special clearance to actually work there. He deals with all the people that work there. He said that basically every single person is ready for this thing, that he had a bug out bag in his car just in case he had to walk home, and they're all prepared for this thing. He said, we have no supplies. He pointed back at the place and said, we don't have the supplies for the entire... If you saw this place, it was about the size of a large Walmart and a huge parking lot. That's not enough supplies to supply 4 states. I said, will there have to be out-of-state help? He said, at 100%, absolutely out-of-state help. We don't have supplies. We barely have any military at this location because it was a kind of joint military and joint the FEMA region headquarters. So when that happened, it woke a lot of people up. We got hundreds and hundreds of emails saying, it really woke me up to see that, somebody who works there is saying that, we are not prepared for this. And the thing is a lot more people need to call these guys out and say, are you prepared? How badly are you unprepared? We are talking about something that is going to change the coastline. It is going to change the way that the entire West Coast looks. And there is chances even the experts cannot rule out. When I talked to Chris Goldfinger, the lead seismologist of the entire... literally, Chris Goldfinger is the reason why people know about the really, really big one. He was behind the really, really big one article by the New York Times. And that went viral. Everybody read it and found out about this thing. And he said, I said, can the Cascadia subduction zone cause San Andreas, or can it cause Yellowstone? And he said 20 years ago, I or any of my colleagues would have said, you are absolutely nuts. You're crazy. But now, and this is how, little we know about these things, or at least, the public does. He said now they actually can start other earthquakes. So they know for a fact that one earthquake can trigger an earthquake somewhere entirely different. It can trigger one right next to it, or it can trigger one on the opposite side of the world, which sounds familiar. It kind of sounds like what Dutch says every day. But again, I don't know what their reasoning is on trying to push that kind of thing away. Maybe it's because it would make the establishment or these 12-year college student professors look dumb, because there's actually a better way to do it, and they don't want to go against the grain. I don't know. This says seismometers recorded a 5.3 magnitude earthquake about 150 miles off the coast of Oregon on Wednesday morning. The quake shook at 8 a.m. a little over 152 miles northwest of Bandon, according to the U.S. Geological Survey. So if you remember, just a few months ago, it was another one right off the coast of Bandon. And we covered that. That is at the kind of the corner, the elbow of the middle of the Cascadia subduction zone, exactly where Dutch said. There was even points last year where I said, I don't know. Maybe he's just really good at guessing or has figured out a way. No. I mean, he said this last night. Before this happened, it was like 3 or 4 a.m. He was 4 hours ahead of it, and he called this down to the T. Not only that, people that have followed him religiously know that he has called so many earthquakes. How could he even have a percentage that big, even if he was the luckiest man in the world? It's impossible. So big up to Dutch Sense, which I think even people that are not watching him or have said poo-poo to him in the past need to go back and actually to keep track. I would challenge any of those people to actually say, write down what he does and then go back later. Because guess what? Even if he does say something and it turns out that it's not going to hit, he admits it and he fixes his wrong. It's something that I've done for the entire term of this. If I put out something that we find out that is a wrong story, we retract it, including another thing I want to say is we back everything that is on this show and the live show on our website. If you want to go to marfooglenews.com, you can actually see this article and every last one that we mention. If we show you a screenshot of an article, it will be linked on our website in show discussions. All you have to do is click this thumbnail and you will get all of the articles that we found. So this is an article by USA Today. It says, is the big one next? California was shaking again Tuesday with 6 earthquakes of 3.5 or greater. A magnitude 4.3 earthquake shook the eastern San Francisco Bay Area at 1:11 p.m. Tuesday. 4 minutes later, a magnitude 4.5 hit near Ridgecrest, which earlier this month was rattled by a pair of massive tremblers, including the most powerful shaker, a magnitude 7.1, to strike California in 20 years. Mind you, the 6.4 was the strongest in 20 years. The 7.1 was even bigger than that. And then it says, and then at 1:24 p.m., the Bay Area felt another rumble, this time a magnitude 3.2, again centered near Blackhawk, an unincorporated community east of Oakland. It was originally reported as a magnitude 3.5. Does this mean the big one is coming? Don't panic. The U.S. Geological Survey cautioned. Now, here's the thing. They always say that this could or would make it more possible for the big one to happen, and then they say don't panic, it's most likely going to happen in a million years, or they give you some sort of percent. Just like after the 6.4, the lady got up there, and you could tell that the lady was like almost panicked. She said, it's a 5% chance that we'll have a bigger one than this in the next 3 days. And then the next day, they had a 7.1. It was almost like she knew, but the percentage she was saying, it's like really a 1 in 20 chance. Most people would ride a ride, even if there was a 1 in 20 chance that they would die if it was, if everybody else was doing it. I mean, that's literally something. I mean, people probably take chances, lower than that on a daily basis, and they don't even realize it. But again, it's the percentages that they throw out. Why is the military taking this so seriously? Why is the entire West Coast swarming with military? We get all of the pictures, just like YouTubers like WSO gets pictures of sky, or Nibiru shots or things like this. We get shots of military convoys, all sorts of things, and it is absolutely shocking the amount we have got, and it's all from the West Coast. There was some action on the East Coast last month, but now it seems like everything is coming from the West Coast. Speaking of the East Coast, we've got some stuff on that. We're going to wait a second to share that. Again, when we say we have to say things certain ways to protect ourselves, but I would say modifiers, throw them out. Apparently, supposedly, allegedly. This was what Dutchens put out, and I believe him. And that's why I'm saying there was even a small part, maybe last year, a year and a half ago, where I kind of doubted, and then I actually started falling. I do 100% put myself behind him because I have watched and I have tracked, especially with my apps and doing everything. It's like I'm incredibly amazed where I see him say something the night before and the next day, boom, it hits. And it's not like some random general area. It's the exact area. And that's what he's saying right now. He's saying hotspot coming up in the ocean west of the Oregon-Washington border. Take a close look. It's quick right here. So wait a second. Dutch, I know about Dex, I know about the other one, but was this before? Did he post this right before?
Yeah, this was posted after the quake on Juan de Fuca. This was a hotspot that showed up after. I believe this.
Okay.
Read more. It might say a little bit more there. And then there was another one 30 minutes ago that's on California.
Okay, so I knew about the 30 minutes ago. So this was something that he posted 30 minutes ago, and it says there's a new hotspot. And at first I thought that this looked like the same, but it's actually not. It's a new hotspot in the ocean off the coast of Northwest California, west of Eureka, California, along the Gorda Escarpment Mendocino Ridge. Now, one thing is that people cannot wrap their heads around the big one. They can't wrap their heads around this actually happening. Just like you don't think there's going to be a shooting in your neighborhood, or you don't think your neighbor's a killer, or you don't think, that a plane is going to crash into your house. No one ever thinks that something bad is going to happen to them. And then when it happens, of course, every single person says, this is the last place I would think that would happen. How could that happen in a quiet neighborhood like this? How could it happen to a person like that? It ends up happening to thousands of people that, you didn't think that it was going to happen to. As far as this is going to be something out of the movies. It's not something that is just a little tiny local quake. This is something where the entire West Coast will shift. The entire piece of Earth, no matter what you think it is, whether you think it's flat or round, the entire piece of Earth from Canada to California is going to jut under and send water up. I mean, we're really talking now. There's earthquakes in Washington. We had a 3.0 just right near me again today. Dex, you actually told me about that. I didn't feel this one, but last one I felt. Was it correct that it was a 3.0, Dex?
Yeah, I saw it was a 3.0, and it was right there. And actually, it was right near the location of the other earthquake that was there. I remember looking at the park on the map, thinking it was right there.
By 3 waves. And we had 2.7s, 2.7 in Cathcart. And I was watching as that happened, and I thought I felt something. That's why I went into DutchSense's chat, and then boom, you hear that bell, and you know that it's right there. USGS partners say ShakeAlert early earthquake warning worked ahead of East Bay quakes. So this is, again, last time with the Ridgecrest earthquakes, they said that their early warning system worked, but it didn't go out to the public. It only went out to officials, which I thought was really weird. It says, Blackhawk, CBS San Francisco says, following a 4.3 magnitude earthquake and a 3.5 aftershock in Contra Costa County on Tuesday, 50 technical partners of the U.S. Geological Survey's ShakeAlert early earthquakes warning system were successfully notified, according to the coordinator with the program. While the system is not yet available to the public as a mobile application for the region, if it was, many residents across the Bay Area would have received a warning as soon as the shocks began at the origin near Blackhawk, 20 miles east of Oakland. So there's a reason why they're taking a lot of this more seriously. There's weird action in all different places. We had a 6.2 off of Vancouver. Then we had the multiple 5s off of the coast of Oregon. Now today we have another one. People are watching like a hawk. There was, of course, the 6.1, the 7.4 in California. We had one in Texas, in Oklahoma. Now we have Tennessee, Kentucky, all of these different places that normally they're not places where all these earthquakes. I believe, what was Dutch's theory on this? So that the cratons were moving, or they're releasing, or the whole craton is kind of shifting.
Yeah, certainly. His model shows how if you go watch him, his model will show how the pressure will, or the buildup will move from location to location. So into Oklahoma, or into Texas, Oklahoma, then around the Grand Craton. Actually going up the East Coast towards Maine. So that, like, Tennessee is not out of the norm. It's just that we don't see them that often.
Well, there's
a lot of activity. I mean, there's a lot of activity across the U.S. right now.
Yeah, and so we want to just get it out there far and wide. We're not trying to scare people, but the obvious. If you live on the West Coast, you basically picked a place that is going to have the big one at some point, and it looks like that point might be coming as soon, sooner than later. And I would really like to say as well, we have some other info that kind of ties into what is going on in the country. So Dex, can you kind of take over? So not only do we have 300 active and retired military folks in our Discord, we have over 10,000 folks in our state groups. So people are meeting in every single state under the Marfoogle News Channel Discord. So can you tell me what we have? A really, really good source this time. So can you tell us about that?
Yeah, Adam. So supposedly, allegedly, all the modifiers included, as were mentioned earlier. But let me just state it like this. I spoke earlier today with somebody who we were able to gather intel directly from a high-ranking source in the government that was talking about the power outages, and specifically they were talking about the ones that we've seen in New York and in other locations. And we've seen lots of these pop up here and there, little small outages, and they're actually tied to cyber attacks against that, and as well as other infrastructure. So that's being actually discussed and sort of addressed at the inside level. They've also told us that they're prepping or working with the military and the government to actually take actions to prepare for a possible grid down scenario. So again, these are the words we're getting from inside. Now, some of this matches up to things we've heard from DHS telling us, "Hey, be prepared," or if the grid goes down from an EMP, or if the grid goes down, you should be able to be prepared for 6 months. So it's not new news, but it is important that we're seeing this intel right now, specifically around some of the events that have happened recently. So that's what I think is very insightful.
Well, thank you, Dex. And again, well, protecting our source. This source is higher than you would even think. We're going to talk about some of the other stuff on the live show on Marfoogle TV. But again, we have gotten in trouble. In fact, there's a story that we're going to talk about on Marfoogle TV that we actually called, or at least we called the story identical to it months ago. And we got trouble with one of our sources. And that source, this source is above that source. And that source was at the level of, say somebody like a senator. So I just want to let you guys know, again, those modifiers, you might want to chop them like Fruit Ninja. Okay, well, Dex, I appreciate you being here and helping me with this. Is there anything else that you want to add to this?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just looking today with all the quake activity, we keep telling people, and I think the most important thing is just everybody to make sure you're prepared. You don't know when something's going to happen where you live. You can be in the the southeast and have to worry about hurricanes, or you can be on the west coast and have to worry about earthquakes. So there's never a better time than now to actually make sure you are prepared and have plans and have you know uh, the necessities you need during a disaster like that.
So again, we're going to cover some of the other outages that people did not know about, including there was some action in North Carolina. But again, you guys know that we've been talking about this, and we do take it very seriously. We have been working anywhere from 60, 70, 80 hours a week on both of our ends to try to put this show out. If you would like to help the show, you can, and help yourself. We firmly believe that this is going to be a lifesaver, especially for the folks in this country. If you go and do your research on what DHS is saying, they're basically giving us a heads up. We have shown you the pictures from all over the country that you send us about people sending in transformers being moved around, generators, military generators, all of these different things, almost like they're planning for a dark scenario. And they are preparing military and almost hardening our grid after T-Man went through and said this. So if you're new here, you would if you're new here, you probably haven't seen this, but it is the world's first and only military tested EMP protection device for not only your entire home. You can get one for your generator, which means if your generator starts after an EMP.
Adam, sorry I'm interrupting, but it looks like we're offline and everybody's saying blackout or buffered and streams offline. So
What the hell happened?
yeah, right. Just a few seconds ago.
That's so weird. I thought I felt a small shake. So we're offline. Okay. It says to end.
It says offline on my stream.
Okay, well, I'm gonna keep going. This is exactly what I'm talking about, Dex. It still says we're streaming, but I don't know. So
yeah,
I hope
maybe it'll pick up on the recording.
I hope people are listening.
Sorry for the interruption. Carry on.
No, that's okay. It's I don't know if we're even on, but I'm starting to get kind of tripped out. Okay, so are we on or are we not on? Do you know?
On my stream, we're offline. I'm gonna check on my phone. Different connection. Real quick.
What did we say? Did we say something really bad? We didn't say much about the source. We didn't say anything.
Hang on.
You didn't say anything, did you?
No, I didn't say anything. All right, it's back. So people need to refresh.
Okay.
Let's keep talking, but this is the fun of YouTube.
Well, it's not only the fun of YouTube. It's that like sunk when you got to choose your words wisely. I think you said that we are blacked out or something. But this is so. I'll just be real with you guys. We are always transparent about how we are helping the channel grow. Financially, we are actually trying to do things within the infrastructure of the country. This is turned into way more than a YouTube channel. If you are new here, Google Marfoogle TV. Mostly good videos will pop up from the people that we have helped create their channels and beef them up. But also, we do think that this is going to save lives. I believe in my heart, and we know from our active military that we are definitely preparing for a possible EMP or a blackout mode. So you're talking about a grid down situation. This isn't to scare people, but if we have a grid down situation, we have 90% of our population gone in a year. So that's a serious thing. Here's what people can do. They can get the same things that they're putting in military installations. They can install them professionally in their home. This is what it is. So they are making other products for the country and for the government. Why shouldn't they be making them for you? It protects against all phases of an EMP, E1, E2, and E3. EMP Shield provides complete and tested protection from electromagnetic pulses, EMP, coronal mass ejection, so something like a Carrington event, Lightning, it has 100% guarantee. Even if you are a homeowner, if you've ever known anybody to have all their stuff fried by a lightning bolt, if you're in, the Midwest, this has 100% guarantee for that, and all forms of power surge. You can get home, auto, generator, and RV models. Think about this one with the car. I've said this before. With the car, if your car is running when nobody else's is, think about that. If you're the first car on the road, that's great. When I think about that, I feel like it feels so sad if you had all these families around you that couldn't drive away and you're the only one driving away. But I would rather be that person than the person that doesn't have a car that works. It actually grounds a signal through the car frame. Again, people will say whatever they want, but we are transparent. We do get a commission of this, and we believe in this company. This company is a part of our community. This company is not some big conglomerate. They are actually here. They talk to us. They've helped Foogle family members out. They even started a GoFundMe for some random Foogle family member that was having health issues. So Andrew from EMP Shield, the owners, all the people, the inventor, they're great. So I'd rather support an American company that is helping supply America than, some other crazy, offshore company or some, precious metal company that's basically ripping you off 70% markup. This is something that will actually protect you. So I'm praying that everybody is good. We're going to go over, I'm going to do a whole entire 2-hour show tonight. So for you East Coast folks, you'll be waking up to me, and you West Coast folks will be snoring at the end. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful night. If you want to check this out, go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. And again, if you want to go to marfooglenews.com, you can find us right here. And then join Discord and alerts. Our alert system is an actual, if we get anything from our military sources that says something's going to hit the fan, or if we just get something that's really good. We got somebody who wrote an essay. They were an emergency responder that experienced the Virginia Beach incident a few weeks ago or a few months ago. They wrote an amazing, amazing article. We published that through alerts. We published passwords to special things there. So make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com. You can join our Facebook group. You can also click on the thumbnail and you can get to this video, and then you can actually scroll down to the all the articles that we used here today. Again, I'm very much so praying for the entire Foogle fam, but it's not over yet. If you go over to MARFOOGLE TV, our other channel, you can see our 2-hour live call-in, and you guys can respond to what I'm saying right now. All right, have a good night. Say goodbye, Dex.
Goodbye, Dex. I appreciate everyone here, and sorry about the technical difficulties, but
that's
God
all right.
Bless everybody.
All right, thank you, Dex.
You want to know what's going on? What's really going on when it happens? Go to marfooglenews.com and get Marfoogle alerts along with a Discord invitation where you can find your local state group and get together with the Foogle Fam. You'll find fast friends where you'll share prep and intel, and there's even special groups for former and current military. But don't try and steal the valor of those who have really served. It won't go well for you. The Marfoogle Fam is waiting for you.